idea of splitting.
Yes,
right?
yes.
Where a typical BPD relationship that becomes
Yes.
intimate in some way,
Yeah.
whether it's emotional, physical,
Yes.
etc., it goes through this cycle where it tends
Yes.
to be idealization.
Yes.
Sometimes people call that like love bombing the person,
Yes,
right?
yes.
And then you start going through this cycle of idealization, devaluation,
Yes.
idealization,
Yes.
devaluation. And it
Yes.
becomes, there's this fear of abandonment,
Yeah.
but if the person gets too far, they
Yeah.
got to get closer, right? It's like they
Yes.
can't keep the person at the right distance.
Yes.
And so for the person on the other end,
Yeah.
there's this push-pull
Yes,
that
it's
develops,
very difficult, yeah.
right? Push-pull
difficult.
that develops in the relationship.
Yeah.
I think psychologically you refer to it as intermittent
Yes.
reinforcement.
Yes.
But then
Yes.
the end of the relationship, it tends to be, can be quite explosive,
Yeah.
is what I would say.
Yeah.
And although at times you still may see shades of being idealized,
Yes.
right? That you are
Yes.
perfect,
Yes.
you can do anything, you'll
Yes.
save me type of thing.
Yes.
It'll go from that to this is the worst person ever,
Right.
they've always been wronging me type of thing. And so I wanted to get your take on like what goes on when someone splits.
When someone splits, we have a concept in mentalization-based theory and the therapy called psychic equivalence. Psychic equivalence means, psychic equivalence is one of three what we call non-mentalizing modes or pre-mentalizing modes. Psychic equivalence means that when you're in the moment, whatever is in your mind, you believe is true.
Mm-hmm.
So the reason we call it a pre-mentalizing mode is that it's actually normative in some areas of development. So like for toddlers, I think about my little one who was, she had an Elsa dress from Frozen, and she had a big Elsa doll. And when she put on this Elsa dress, and she was with the Elsa doll, she became Elsa.
She is Elsa.
She is Elsa. It is almost psychotic in that, that's how little kids play. They become. Now, psychic equivalence is like that. For the person with BPD, in that moment, what's in their mind is true. They cannot see an alternative perspective in that moment. And so part of the work that we do in MBT is to begin to know when you are in psychic equivalence. Usually you are in psychic equivalence when you're emotional. Mm-hmm. So you should really press the pause button and go back, gather yourself if you've got BPD. Because when you feel very strongly, when you feel certain, that's the psychic equivalence is 10 out of 10 certainty. Certainty is not your friend in personality disorder. If you've got a tendency to have personality disorder or personality problems, guard against certainty. Always try and bring down your certainty from 10 out of 10 to 6 out of 10. Because we never know. We never really have the full facts. And your go-to is clarification. So if you feel certain, you are in psychic equivalence, you've stepped out to calm down, to gather yourself, then you go back in and ask for clarification.